Yo, how's it going, YouTube? This is Randall Stroud, and today's topic is going to be about young men lacking mentorship. Lacking mentorship. I know growing up, I definitely lacked a lot of mentorship in a lot of ways, but I also had more mentorship in some ways than some young men. There's different levels to it. So obviously, the best situation for a young man is someone who grows up in a two-parent household and their father takes them under their wing, helps them develop their natural talents, and encourages them and pushes them in a particular direction. But unfortunately, what's happening with a lot of people, including young men, is they're being raised by single moms who are usually working a job, and these young men are just left sitting at home watching TV, getting fat, and just being aimless and having no direction, or that testosterone builds up in their system and then they end up getting into trouble, becoming criminals, getting into fights, selling drugs, and all these kind of things. That's why more than 70% of all inmates come from a single mother household situation. And it shouldn't surprise us. It should not surprise us. You know, and I was in that situation to a certain degree because my parents divorced when I was 13 years old, and that definitely disrupted things, but it's not like I was much better before that, because even when my parents were together, my dad was working, 60, 70-hour weeks sometimes, so it's not really like I got to learn many things from him. So once my parents divorced, luckily, I had the inclination to start studying martial arts and boxing and these kind of things. So I did have some positive masculine male role models who sort of stepped in and gave me some sense of passion for something, which was boxing and martial arts. And it did give me some sort of direction, but as far as career and romance and relationships, I pretty much made every failure in those departments that you could imagine. Like, I started several businesses and failed. I was in, several serious relationships. They all failed. And I just failed over and over. And unfortunately, this is a common trend that we're seeing with young men today, is that they're learning how to become men through failure. And this can be done. Men can learn how to be men through failure, but it takes a long time. Like I'm in my 30s now. I'm in my 30s, and it's like a lot of the things that I've learned, I was like, oh yeah, I wish someone just could have told me that or showed me that. And oftentimes we look at our parents and we sort of mimic their behaviors subconsciously, and I did that. I played out my parents' relationship in a lot of my own relationships, and I couldn't figure out why my relationships were not working. And so a lot of work had to be done to heal those wounds and move forward. But guys, I want to keep this video somewhat short. If you're a young man and you're under the age of 30, or even if you're above 30, and you just haven't been able to figure out your life, reach out to a mentor. Reach out to someone that looks like they have their life together, and talk to them and see what they say, because we have to stop getting advice from people that don't have themselves together, because misery loves company, and you're never going to get the right advice, and you're never going to get positive reinforcement from someone who's in the same situation as you, or who's in a worse situation, and especially if that person is not actively trying to combat their way out of it. A lot of people have this crab mentality where they see you doing better and then they want to drag you down because they're afraid that they're going to lose their struggle buddy. Stop being a struggle buddy. A struggle buddy is someone who bonds with you solely on your struggles. But then once someone starts doing better for themselves, then the other person feels offended and they pull away from you and they say, oh, you've changed. Well, I'm supposed to change because you're not supposed to struggle indefinitely. So, guys, get rid of these struggle buddies. Heal those emotional childhood wounds and start reaching out to older men who have been through these processes and have demonstrated that they were able to fix their lives, and model yourself after them. Something that my father told me once he came back into my life after my parents divorced. My dad did help me a lot in sort of catching me up on a lot of things, but one of the best advices that he gave me, and this is a man who has went through a divorce, he's been homeless before because of the money that he's lost, and I've been through those things too. In a lot of ways I have played out the sins of my father, but my dad said, son, nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save you. And if you want to fix your life, you've got to make a commitment to be relentless. You got to be relentless. You can't just lay down and say, oh, I wish things would get better. Whatever it is that you want, you've got to be relentless about it, and you've got to have an option A, B, and C in life. I know that people say you shouldn't have a plan B, but hey, sometimes we can hold on to a dream for so long that we just have to be honest with ourselves and say, hey, this is not practical. This is not something that I'm able to do, and I've got to find something else that's more within my realm of possibilities. So there is a limit, but we shouldn't give up easily either. So guys, if you are looking for mentorship, if you feel lost, look in the description box below in this video. I am doing life coaching. I am doing masculine mentorship. So definitely book a session with me and let's talk about it. Maybe it's relationship problems. Maybe it's stagnation in your career or childhood wounds. Whatever it is, let's talk about it.